Alright guys, so Ethereal has made a post on the WoW forums in regards to Solo Shuffle, retiring Solo Shuffle, bringing in a new type of solo queue. Let's go through this post, see what's going on, because I mean, I think we all agree that Solo Shuffle has some big issues. So like, we used to have it looking for a group, and it was not a perfect solution, and solo queue was hopefully gonna solve that issue. You can get home, just play the game instantly. But now it's the same thing. Instead of spending 30 minutes or an hour finding someone to play with through looking for a group, you spend that amount of time in queue waiting for a game. Okay, proposal: retire Solo Shuffle and introduce unified solo queue for 2v2 and 3v3. The problem: Solo Shuffle is fundamentally flawed. Although it was created to give solo players easier access to PvP, it has introduced several systemic issues. Long queue times, especially for DPS. True. A round-robin format that doesn't reflect real arena gameplay. I actually don't mind like the round-robin like that in of itself that much. Poor experience for healer to do unpredictable teammates and reduced agency. True. Inconsistent and unsatisfying rating progression. Yes, also true, I would say, especially for healers. At the same time, and the thing is, like, if the healers are not satisfied, the healers are not queuing, the healers are not queuing, the DPS queues are so long. At the same time, traditional 2v2 and 3v3 brackets are inaccessible for solo players. When a teammate logs off, players are left with logging off early, waiting 30 to 40 minutes for a Solo Shuffle queue, burning time in the LFG tool, often with poor results. Yeah. Dude, I kind of miss like the state of Shadowlands Season 2-ish, where looking for a group, there was no solo queue yet, and looking for a group was actually quite active. I believe Cross Faction had just been introduced around that time, and it was actually like, looking for a group was kind of working. This fragmentation splits the player base, reduces retention, and disrupts the flow of competitive play. Also true. The solution: unified solo queue inside of existing brackets. Blizzard should retire Solo Shuffle and introduce a solo queue system built directly into the existing 2v2 and 3v3 brackets using standard rule sets and a shared matchmaking pool. It's interesting, but like, so it would be people queuing non-solo queue and solo queuers in the same thing. Core features: unified matchmaking pool. Both solo and premium players queue the same system, improving matchmaking density and reducing wait times. I just want to say one thing. Like, what I think this would work well is like a double DPS bracket. And that's right, double DPS is like really random. Like, people say like, oh, Rogue Mage would just win everything. Not true. Not true at all in terms of like double DPS balancing. And I think that actually would be a fun bracket. It wouldn't be perfectly balanced. Nothing is. But the queues would be fast. I swear, 2v2 double DPS solo queue bracket. Holy moly. Standard arena rule set. Matches use the same format as regular rated arenas. No round robin mechanics or isolated rating bubbles. Separate ratings, share pool. Players maintain separate ratings for solo queue and pre-made queue. Okay. That's, yeah, okay. So you're facing the same players, but the ratings are separated. Okay. Although the ratings are separate, both brackets draw from the same pool of players. This results in shorter queue times, special DPS, and naturally inflates matchmaking rating since more matches occur across the same ladder ecosystem. Equal seasonal rewards, glad amounts and titles are available in both queues. Solo rewards can have visually reskin variants to maintain prestige and distinction. Yeah, I like that. Separate rewards to some degree, at least like different color, you know. Yeah. Benefits by role. Healers. Frees players from shuffle-specific mechanics and round-based restrictions. Allows more influence over match outcomes. Provides fair and consistent rating growth. Makes healing more engaging and less punishing. DPS players. Greatly reduces queue times thanks to more healers in one pool. Keeps momentum by removing long downtime between matches. No need to rely on LFG when a teammate leaves. Build skill that transfers directly to team-based arena. Okay. All players. No more queue splitting or dead sessions. One active bracket across all time zones. Healthier match pacing. Better progression and improved ladder stability. A system that works equally well for casuals and competitive players. Okay. I actually wonder how this would work in practice. Because all this sounds good, you know? But it's like, actually implemented, like how would it actually work? Would healers queue up? How would it play out? But it's very interesting. Unified ladder progression. All players, whether queuing solo or in groups, compete in the same matchmaking pool. There are no isolated brackets, which means rating activity flows through a single system. I do like the idea of that, like, you know, less spread, more... Yeah, like, less spread. Player base, less spread. As a result, MR inflates naturally since everyone contributes to one shared ladder. Yeah, that makes sense. This leads to faster matchmaking, more meaningful progression, and a healthier PvP ecosystem overall. Healers at low ratings. 0 to 2.1k often don't have pre-made, so they're more likely to queue solo. Healers at higher ratings, 2-4+ typically have pre-made partners and won't solo queue. Blizzard should not balance PvP systems around the top 1%. That is so true. They should not. Accommodating like the top 0.1%. Like, it's just, yeah, I mean, that's of course a very small part of the player base. And it ends up like, if they're like, if the focus, like for example, like balancing as well should not be around the top 1%, I think. Then the game just ends up being dead. Common concerns. Why would healers queue solo if they can just play with friends, especially in a unified bracket? This is one of the most important concerns, and it's true to high MR. Often have dedicated teammates, prefer full pre-made control, will likely avoid solo queue no matter how fair or fast it is. But here's what matters most. This system targets where the problem actually exists. 0 to 2.1 MR. At low ratings, where 90 to 95% of player base lives, most healers don't have reliable partners. They rely on solo queue formats like Shuffle for rating and rewards. They're not in control. They're just trying to play the game. True. True. I think, like, the biggest issue is just, like, when you just can't really play the game in a satisfying way. And I think healers can't, and DPS for sure can't because you can't even get in. Healers can get in, but it's not a good experience. And sounds like this would kind of fix that. In this MR range, healers are more likely to queue solo queue. This shared matchmaking pool ensures they can be matched dynamically with other solos and duos. DPS queues become significantly faster because matchmaking is flexible and healer participation is naturally higher. Blizzard is not designed for the top 1%. If Blizzard balanced PvP around 2-4+ players, Soul Shuffle wouldn't exist. Half the player base wouldn't even queue Arena. The unified solo queue system is designed to improve the experience for the majority of players. The 0 to 2.1 crowd, where queues are the longest, most healers don't have teams, most DPS can't find reliable groups. It fixes the problem where it matters most, and it still allows pre-mades to thrive at higher ratings. Yeah, makes sense. Personal experience. I've been fortunate to achieve Gladiator across multiple seasons. I even came close to rank 1 once, but didn't quite reach it. I'm not the best player, and I know I still have a lot to learn, but I genuinely care about PvP and want to see the system improve for the wider community, especially the majority sitting between 0 and 2,100 rating. This proposal suggests retiring Soul Shuffle and replacing it with a unified Soul Shuffle queue system inside the existing 2v2 and 3v3 brackets. The new system uses standard arena rules, keeps separated ratings for solo and pre-mid players, and merges everyone into one matchmaking pool to drastically reduce queue times and naturally inflate MMR. It primarily benefits players in the 0 to 1,000 range, where most healers don't have static teams and are more likely to queue solo. While high-rated healers 2-4+ may continue to queue with trusted players, Blizzard should prioritize the majority of the player base, not balance PvP around the top 1%. This change makes queues faster, the experience fairer, and the ladder more active, all without removing the option for pre-made play. Inspiration and attribution. Yeah, I know it's AI generated, but I spent time prompting it carefully to reflect my own take on Soul Shuffle and the system I'd like to see. I see no issue with getting help from AI to format to actually, like, you know, like do the grunt work. Yeah, everything still stands. Like, it's still, yeah, it's prompted, and it's well prompted. The core idea is inspired by the detailed breakdown in this video, how to fix PvP in autistic detail, and others like Savix PvP takes, but I built on it, restructured it, and tailored it to address concerns we've all talked about, like healer queues and high-rated behavior. Okay, I actually think this was really, really good overall. I like this. Yeah, I'm still like kind of curious how it would actually play out having a unified bracket and like you having pre-mates queuing into solos. But the rating brackets are different. They are separated, but still, like having those games and how that would play out, and also like how it would matchmake in terms of like comps and such as well. But it's a very interesting thing, and yeah, I think it could work. I think it could work. I do. But yeah, cool post. I'll link it in chat. It's a cool post. There it is, guys. Ethril made this. Thank you, Ethril.